Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another disc golf video. I know it's been a couple of days. As you guys know, I just played in the Charlotte Amateur Championship this past weekend. I said I was going to record my rounds out at my practice rounds out at Nevin and Hornet and Renaissance and the Beaver. But as I got out there to record, I started thinking, and I was like, I kind of really want to focus and not get distracted by the camera or anything like that. And so I went out and practiced. I played Nevin and Hornet's Nest in one day, excuse me, and I shot 8 down at both of them, which was absolutely insane for me. I don't think that I've ever shot that good at either of those. Those would have been probably 1,000 rated rounds, if not 990 something rated rounds. They were really, really good. So I felt pretty confident at those. I thought we were going to be playing gold at Renaissance because it said Renaissance Pro, but we didn't play gold, which honestly was kind of a little bit disappointing. Like, it was an amateur championship. We were in the advanced division, and I kind of wanted to play Angry Beaver longs, and I wanted to play Renaissance Gold, but we didn't play either of those. We played Angry Beaver shorts, which was still a challenging course and messed with some people. I did get the CTP on hole 2 there, so I won $55 there, so I'm happy with that. And then out at Renaissance, we played Renaissance Gray, which honestly felt a little bit harder to me in some regards because some of the holes were par 3s that if you played from the long tee, it was a par 4, which obviously gives you a little bit better of a chance to score, especially if you can hit your line. But then obviously the more distance and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to go over kind of some, how it went. I know there's not going to be any footage or anything in this, so if you guys don't want to watch, I totally get it, but I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about I feel like this almost was bigger for me than DDO was. There were 4 rounds in 3 days. It was an amateur championship. Like, it was a big deal. And DDO was a big deal for me as well, but I feel like this was bigger. Also, this is my first year of really competing. Last year, I think I maybe did 3 events, and I've done significantly more than that this year. And, like, obviously coming off of COVID and all that kind of stuff. So I'm trying not to take it too hard on myself when it comes to competing because I've only really been competing for a year. So let's go ahead and jump into the review of my rounds. So round 1 was Hornet's Nest. I played really, really well, but made some bad decisions. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I had 6 birdies out there, which is good, but also had 4 bogeys. So I only shot 2 down. And a lot of those bogeys could have been changed from decision making. I say this all the time to people too. Like, I talk to my buddy Brendan, I talk to other people. I say play for par and the birdies will come. Like, if you play safe, the birdies will end up coming. And like, yeah, there are some where maybe you would throw different off the tee. But really, when I say play safe or play for par, I mean after your first shot. Like, if your first shot isn't really that good, you don't need to try and save yourself. Like, there was a hole where I ended up taking at Nevin, we'll get there in a second, I took a double bogey because I tried to go for it when I could have easily gotten the par. Like, that was 2 strokes right there. I could have easily gotten a par. But I wanted to try a weird sidearm flip-up roller, and it was just completely pointless. Like, honestly, I could have pitched out and then thrown a backhand and made my putt. Instead, I got a 6 because I rolled into the woods. And so my biggest takeaway from this weekend, and you guys will see that a little bit too as we move along, was playing for par, playing safe, and the birdies will come. So round 1 at Hornet's Nest, we ended up being 2 down. It was a 954 rated round. I'm currently rated 940. So I was happy with that, but disappointed with the bogeys, honestly. Especially because one of the bogeys at Hornet's Nest, I was 5 feet away and I hit the band. Like, I wasn't focused. I was talking to the guys on my card and just wasn't focused. And just got lazy and hit the band, and it gave me an extra stroke. And honestly, I'm lucky because it was on a hill and it could have rolled down. Every stroke, every movement of the arm counts and needs to be intentional when it comes to tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So second round at Nevin was 954 again. And we had 7 birdies there, which is good for Nevin, for me, honestly. I'm trying to go through some of these in my head. Hole 4 there is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, hole 4. I kind of got cut off on the side and kind of went for the hero play to get a birdie when I could have just done a little sidearm out with the Justice, gone 70 feet, and then gotten up with the putter there. That would have saved us. But like I said, on hole 4, that 6, I could have gotten a par there, and that would have been a 4 down, and which would have been probably 970 or something like that, which would have been my second best tournament round. My best is 989 at GDO. And I'm telling you, man, the takeaway that I had after those first, because those first 2 rounds were in one day, so my mindset was kind of the same, you know. But after those 2 rounds, I really started like putting it together in my head and thinking and making good decisions. And you can see that at Elon, which was Angry Beaver. So I didn't get a bogey until hole 12. And I got 2 birdies up until that point. I missed a couple of putts, probably from 15 or 20 that were either like straddle stance or whatever. I need to start practicing my straddle stance, honestly, because I do feel like I miss straddle putts a good amount. And so that's something as well going into tournaments for those of you that want to play in them. The biggest thing I'm telling you, play for par and you'll surprise yourself. At least off your second shot. Your first shot, throw. You know, try and hit the gap. Throw it controlled. Don't power up on it too much. Get it out there. And then make that decision after that first shot about playing for par. If you don't feel comfortable with the stance or anything like that, just throw it out to where you know you will feel comfortable with the next stance and take your par and walk away, because most people don't play like that. Like, I always try and say it's me against the course, and that is 100% true. It is me against the course. But it's also good to think that it's everyone else against the course, and they will try and save those shots a lot of times, especially if they already got a bogey. If someone got a bogey, they're probably more likely to go for it on the next hole to make up for it, and a lot of times that will give them another bogey. That's happened to me many times. So didn't get a bogey until hole 12, and I think that those were, yeah, so hole 12 was just a bad tee shot. I pulled it a little bit left. I had a great second shot, honestly. Like, I can't be upset with everything else that I did on hole 4. My second shot was amazing. Barely hit a little branch, but still got way up there. I just missed my line on the tee shot. That's the hole where I throw my Sampo sidearm and it flips up and pushes straight and gets down by the basket. Both practice rounds, I birdied it. And so that was a 2-stroke swing right there on that one hole. And then the next one was just a straight backhand, and I threw it kind of low, and there was a stump this big in the middle of the fairway that was probably this tall. If I had been to the right or left, I literally would have been parked, because it was on angle. It was about to skip on the leaves and push down, and it hit that and went straight up in the air and then landed behind a tree. And so from there, I threw another one. I wanted to do another low skipper into the basket, and it hit another stump. And like, that hole was so frustrating, because those 2 holes I birdied in my practice rounds, and so that's a 4-stroke swing there, and shooting 5 down there would have been disgusting. But you guys can see the progress that I made when it comes to bogeys, shooting 4 of them in the first round and 5 of them in the second round with that double bogey, and then only 2 in that third round. I made a big mental change there. I would sit through and process all of my shots and be like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Can I execute this shot? All that kind of stuff, and just making good decisions instead of trying to go for the hero play. And I made some sick shots that, like, I was really, really proud of. My scrambling this weekend was on point. Yeah, my scrambling was on point. My putting was really good the first day. I made probably 3 or 4 from 40 to 50 feet that were just solid, confident putts. But as the week went on, or as the weekend went on, I feel like I started thinking too much about my approach shots and all that kind of stuff, and like analyzing those, which was important. But then I started analyzing the putts too much, and that got in my head, and I hit the cage so many times. And I always tell you guys, like, I'm upset when I hit the cage. I'm not as upset when I hit the band, because that means I committed to the putt. and I hit too many cages, especially in the last round. The last round, I was going into it, so I was tied for 13th, I think, maybe 11th, somewhere around there, after round 3, and I was feeling confident to at least get a top 10 finish. Like, I was excited, I was feeling confident. Missed a putt on hole 1, was probably 25 out, hit the cage, super frustrating. Got a birdie on the next hole with a sick drive. I was probably 3 feet away in the air from getting an eagle on it. Had a really solid drive. And then hole 4, I made another bad decision. And that was kind of what started the spiral. So I threw and hit a tree, and I could have very easily, from behind the tree, thrown like a Justice or a putter backhand 80 feet to the landing zone that I wanted to be in off the tee. But instead, I was like, no, I'm going to throw a flip-up Sampo turnover, blah, 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 like super hard executed shot. Threw it. The Sampo didn't flip over at all because I gave it just a little too much hyzer, and that ended up giving me a bogey there, when it could have easily been a par. Like, legit, I'm not just saying, like, it could have easily been a par if I'd taken my putter, laid up to the correct landing zone, and just get rid of that hole. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes if you're in that scenario, it's like, okay, now I have 17 holes to play. You get rid of that one. That one doesn't count. That's a par, whatever. Get it out of here. Now I have 17 holes to execute. And then I went par, and then I got another bogey. I had a bad shot off of the tee. No, which one is this? Where did I get that to? Oh, I had a sick putt on this hole. The one right before that, what did I do? Oh, so the one right before that, this is another thing, guys. Like, I threw a disc that I had never thrown off of this hole because I was like, this could work. No. Why are you doing that? Especially if it's a hole with OB and like other stuff like that. No. Okay, yeah, it was a pretty looking disc, and I wanted to throw it and see it fly, but that was the wrong decision to make right there. And then I answered with a big putt on the next hole, slowed my breathing down, focused on the chain, talked to myself like I talk in my videos to you guys, and I say, okay, I'm focusing on the chain, 1, 2, putt, and I did it, and I canned it, and it was a really, really good putt. The next hole, and I've noticed this lately with tournament play and just play in general, I try and throw too hard sometimes. And if I don't hit a tree, then I would have gone past the basket. Distance control is so important. And on my sidearms especially, because you guys know that my sidearms, I can flip up if I'm not throwing something understable. Even with the Rive, I can flip that up. And I tried to give it too much angle, hit a tree, kicked off, and then threw my EMAC Truth out, which I had been super confident with, but was about 6 inches too far to the left, hit some shrubbery. I was trying to go right past it to hit my line, hit some shrubbery, fell down, took a 4 there. And then the next hole, for those of you who have watched the coverage of Renaissance Gold that I've posted, it's hole 8 at Renaissance Gold. It's the one that I almost aced in my practice round. I almost aced it in my practice round. Here, I took a 5 on it. Okay, so I was +1 at this point, and right, was I +1? Yeah, I was +1 at this point, so I was like, you can easily recover from this, especially on that hole. And in my practice round, I threw my Keystone. I was like, okay, I'm gonna throw something a little bit more overstable, so I pulled out my Chameleon Judge, which is more overstable than the Keystone, and I threw it, and right as I threw, I felt a headwind come up from the hill that was not there when I was throwing. Like, it was calm. Through my Judge, it went probably 375 dead straight OB, and I was just watching it, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I was, you know, sometimes you guys throw your discs, and like a lot of times people blame them. They're just like blaming the disc, like, what? But sometimes you throw a disc and you're like, that disc has never done that before. It went dead straight, like 370. I'm not even kidding you. It was a pump. I almost landed on the bridge that goes over the marsh. So it went out of bounds. Super frustrated because I could have just thrown a mid and then pitched up and gotten a 3 on it. But obviously hindsight's 20/20, and that would have saved me 2 strokes there. And then the OB was probably 10 feet back into the marsh. So you had to go and mark back from the OB, and there was grass like probably up to my waist, and no real shot. Ended up taking a 5 there. Super bummed on that one but the problem was I was probably going for an ace run because I almost aced it in practice. So I almost wish that I didn't almost ace it in practice, and then I would have just thrown a hyzer in there instead of like trying to get the straight shot. So that was pretty tough. And then just kind of stayed calm for the next couple holes, getting pars. Ripped a huge sidearm down the hill, the one with the big telephone wires. Ripped a huge felon down the hill, landed a 1.5 feet from the basket. I placed it in. So good. Felt really, really strong after that. And then pars after that. And then on the last hole, I'd never thrown this one before. Just threw my Raider in. Probably 25 feet away, uphill putt, hit the cage again, and it rolled about 15 away, and at that point I was just annoyed, and I missed the putt again, and I 2-putted to end my tournament with a bogey, which was honestly really, really frustrating because if I had been +2 there, or if I had been even there, then I think that I would have tied for like 24th or something, but I ended up tying for 27th, as you guys can see here. To go over this again, 6 birdies and then 4 bogeys, 7 birdies and then 5 bogeys. Like, that hurt so bad. 3 birdies, 2 bogeys, not as bad. 3 birdies, 6 bogeys to finish the tournament makes me want to throw up. Like, that's really, really bad. But event average +5 for my rating, which I'm happy with, but like I really am happy with my performance on the first 3 rounds. Even though I got all those bogeys, I had really good shots. I played really well. The last round, it was just bad, and I'm really disappointed with my mindset there, especially because I feel like I improved so much on my mindset in round 3, and then I don't know what it was on round 4. Sometimes it can be tough when there's other people on the card. I don't mind caddies and stuff, but sometimes people will walk up and kind of hang out with friends and everything, and I shouldn't let that bother me, especially because, you know, there will probably be fans watching and stuff at some point at some big events and things like that, and so I have to be able to get past that, but my mind just chooses to focus on the wrong stuff. In one of the recent Jomez videos, Jerm was talking about how he likes to focus on the good things about a shot, and I'm really gonna start trying to do that, like focusing on, oh, I have a good angle, like I've made putts like this, there's no wind, instead of being like, I can't believe I have to straddle putt, how did I mess up that first shot, and like thinking about negative things instead of thinking about all the good things. So I'm gonna try and do that. But tied for 27th out of, I think it was 140 people. Oh no, it says 131. So 27th out of 131, I'm happy with that, especially with how bad I played that last round. Still getting 27th out of 131 makes me really happy. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this little recap. I'm going to let my arm rest a little bit because I played probably a total of 5 rounds in those 3 days with warm up and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty tired. But I will get out and film some rounds soon for you guys. I've been learning a lot lately. So yeah, thank you for watching. You guys are the best. See you on the next one. Peace out.